I know I've been picking on Ubisoft a lot lately, but nobody forced them to have a logo that looks like a great big dog turd seen from above. Nobody forced Yves Guillemot to come out and declare Skull and Bones to be a, quote, quadruple A game. You see, while no one deserves to be bullied, if you march into the school cafeteria, plop down at the table with all the rough lads, and declare, I'd wager none of you fellows know as much about Naruto as me, then at that point you're kind of asking for it. Especially when it turns out you don't actually know that much about Naruto. Making this game should have been the easiest fucking job in the world, Ubisoft, because you'd already done it. You already made the pirate game we wanted. It was called Assassin's Creed Black Flag. All we wanted you to do was strip out the assassin business, cut the weirdly self-reflective evil tech corporation in the future bits, and add multiplayer. Well, I didn't want that, but I'm not going to burn down a house just because everyone besides me is having fun in it, not without deniability anyway. And yet, after 10 long years to improve on the idea, Skull and Bones has less gameplay, less story, less sandbox, and less miserables. So let's stock our ship at the island of Lesbos and get into it. We open with our character shipwrecked after a sea battle, and some lady pirate, apparently with massive self-esteem issues, picks up our fly-struck carcass and immediately pledges loyalty to us as her new captain, because she can see in our eyes that we've got the spark of greatness, although she might be confusing it for seagull plop. After a brief period of sailing a raft around getting bullied by sharks, we reach the central pirate island hub, where the king of the pirates gives us a ship and some pirating jobs because he's got a good feeling about the look in our eye. Man, what is it with our eyes? Who are we, the demon headmaster? Yes, I do get off on making references most people won't get. I'd already had the first major disappointment by this point. Here's a list of things you can do with your ship in Black Flag. Sail it, run around the deck, have cool sword fights on it, climb the rigging, dive into the sea while your crew take the piss, etc. Here's a list of things you can do with your ship in Skull and Bones. Sail it, and don't sail it. When you dock at an outpost, your character just clicks their heels together and teleports to the shore, and considering all you can do is jog from one vendor to another and can't even jump on top of their desk and pretend to defecate on their cash register, it might as well have been a fucking menu screen. Maybe this is my fault for expecting too much. I'm sure working multiplayer into the established formula would have added a lot of hidden complications. Even letting us dive into the sea would add legions of extra steps if it's other players who have to be the ones taking the piss. I guess on that note, one thing you can do on land is admire the custom avatars of other players, but I swear every single other fucking player in this game was wearing the same outfit. Tricorn hat, eye patch, overcoat. The moment I realised that, I ran to the cosmetics shop and traded my own tricorn hat, eye patch and overcoat for a colourful stripy shirt, shorts and a silly red hat, and spent the rest of the game running around looking like Ness from Earthbound. So that's the first paragraph of Skull and Bones' suicide note. The core gameplay is just ships. Ship movement and ship combat. If you want epic sword fights while drenched in pitiless spray, you're going to have to go back to taking showers with your brothers. Ship movement consists of pointing to where you want to go and waiting. Waiting a little bit less if you have stamina, and more when you've run out. Hold up, question from the floor, Skull and Bones. Why does my ship have a sprint meter? And why is it restored with food items? What, are we climbing down to the figurehead and shoving pancakes in its mouth? Gosh, if only sailing ships had some bespoke movement system that one could craft unique traversal gameplay around. Wind, you say? Nah, I don't know what the wind's doing in this game. I think it's got ADHD. It keeps randomly changing direction every 30 seconds like a long-term Ubisoft project. As for what you do once you get to places, of course we're not getting out of here without doing some fucking crafting, so we park next to the coast and gather bits of wood and ore with a sort of logical opposite of a fishing minigame, so that we can craft the better cannons that make us tough enough to go to the next area with the slightly different bits of wood you need to craft the next kind of cannon. It's annoying having to keep sailing right up to the coast. More often than not I crash into it because we can't just stop when we say stop, which I'd put down to being a sailing ship, but the same thing happens when you're on foot. Our dude has to awkwardly shuffle forward a few steps like he's trying to find purchase on a floor covered in executive cum. But resource gathering is made even more annoying by the inventory management. The contextual prompts seem convinced we want to pick up every sweet wrapper and bit of floating twig before the actually important stuff, and inventory is limited by both weight and item slots for some reason. Our cargo can be a fraction of our ship's maximum weight, but if it consists of 50 different pieces of paper, whoops, no zinc ingots for you. Eventually I determined it wasn't really worth resource gathering from coasts when it's a lot more fun and on brand to pirate them from outposts and merchant ships. Yeah, it pisses off their faction, but the factions forget all about you after about 10 seconds. Maybe they have trouble telling the player characters apart as well. And it's the combat where things finally get interesting. Again, less interesting than it was in Black Flag. You can board enemy ships that you've weakened, but then the game remembers it doesn't have hand-to-hand combat, so it just goes, yeah, you won. It sank somehow. Move on, no need to dwell. But it still got something. The game came alive for me when I was doing a rum-running side mission. Fast travel was disabled and I had to make a grueling journey across stormy open seas, harassed by privateers the whole way. It was thrilling as I desperately tried to line up my cannons with the enemy as the sea rolled and thrashed like an insomniac's honeymoon bedspread. But I finally arrived at port, battered but exhilarated, to receive my just reward, 25 premium coins. To put towards eventually buying a 200 coin hat, exactly the same as the standard hats, but a more prestigious colour. Meanwhile, the actual story missions are usually go to place for bog standard ship fight. The big baddie we've been building up for the last 6 missions is on the other ship, you say, all very aggressively being not visible and not saying anything. Ooh, don't you just hate the smug bastard? In summary, if you're into online piracy, in a thematic sense I should say, just play Sea of Fucking Thieves. That's what makes this even stupider. Ubisoft had not only already made the game, they had a rival showing them exactly how to do it. They had a white stick and a guide dog and a fucking head-mounted mounted sonar device and they still walk straight off the fucking gangplank. Certainly is quadruple A. Absolute aggravated anus acne. Sponsor time! My kids have had trouble sleeping, so I've been looking for some good educational family viewing on the benefits of a proper bedtime routine. I heard of a very wholesome sounding film called The Boy in the Striped Pyjamas, which seemed ideal. Sadly, it was only available on Netflix UK, and I'm in the US, but thanks to this week's sponsor, NordVPN, I could watch it anyway. After a simple sign-up process, all it took was one click to divert my connection through a server in the UK and trick those stupid limey bastards into thinking I was one of them. So my kids got their movie. And while I prefer not to go into the rest of the evening's events, on a related note, NordVPN's location services were also great for finding the best prices for family counselling and rubber bed sheets. But using a VPN is about more than traumatizing children. It also lets you browse in privacy and confidence without being monitored or having your data stolen. And come on, you know what NordVPN is. You've watched more than one YouTube video. Sign up through nordvpn.com/secondwind to get a huge discount and 4 additional free months of service through our exclusive deal. That link again is nordvpn.com/secondwind in case you zoned out during the previous sentence.